Action.
Oh, you're recording. Hello. Welcome to Jezebel and the Jester with Kristina and Ernest. I'm Jezebel.
I'm the Jester.
And we're so happy that you're here. Thank you for joining us. We are, per usual, lit. Too many shots. Too many shots. Not too many.
Too many shots of...
What is too many? What is too much?
There's too many. When you get sloppy.
Am I...
You ever ask a question and immediately
get the answer?
Yeah, you're like, well, there that was.
Like right now? Yeah, like I just bumped this mic.
That's all right.
And it's okay.
That's
okay. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. It is a custom here at the Jezebel and the Jester podcast to have shots. So many shots. So many shots of tequila. Tequila's been the number one lately because you like it.
Tequila's my go-to.
It's your go-to.
Yeah. It's because I didn't drink for 12 years, and so I'm just like living my college years.
You didn't drink for 12 years?
Oh my God.
Years?
You didn't know that?
I had no idea. Speaking of addictions, which is what this podcast is about. We're going to talk about addictions today because Ernest and I have both gone through some addiction issues, and we're going to talk about the alcohol now. That wasn't the original plan.
That wasn't the plan.
But now that you mentioned it, 12 years?
Yeah.
For what?
I was sober for 12 years. Look, I love I've probably told this story more than any other story.
And I've never heard it. So this is the first time.
Really?
So yeah,
Wow.
Absolutely. So you were an alcoholic?
No, I was not an alcoholic.
Okay. I mean, I basically told everyone I was an alcoholic the last podcast episode.
Yeah,
so, and I'm not.
It's...
Or am I? I'm not an alcoholic. I do like alcohol.
What makes one an alcoholic?
I would say someone who's dependent on it, right? To be normal, like right now. I was like, I love taking shots right before because I feel normal. Maybe I am an alcoholic. I mean, how often do I drink? I'd say I drink probably like 3 times a week. So is that an alcoholic? I don't know. Tell me in the comments if that's an alcoholic.
What constitutes an alcoholic?
I'm not like, I never blackout drunk, ever. I've never actually
You could still be an alcoholic and have never blacked out.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
I was like,
right.
because
Just
if you're
be clear.
So I don't know. Anyways, let's stop talking about me. Let's talk about you.
No.
Let's stop talking about me for a second. No, let's dig into that because I will say that lately I have drank a lot more just because.
Wait, when's the last time you drank?
Well, right now.
Before this?
Last night.
It's not looking so good for you.
But before that was our last podcast episode recording. So
that's good.
Yeah.
It's been a couple days.
Yeah, and when I drink like Trulies, not like hard alcohol.
Again,
I understand. But I'm not like taking shots by my. Okay. Well, I guess I'm an alcoholic. No, I'm just joking.
It's like me saying I only watch MILF porn. That's fine.
I mean, it's fine. It's not the same, though. It's not the same. You're right. No, you're right. I do drink often. I would say I probably drink like 3 times a week. Yeah.
All right, but we need to know how you define an alcohol. I mean, how do you define addiction?
Addiction.
You know? It's
a kind of a gray area.
It is.
But I think that in a sense, for some things, it's not. You know, like if it's affecting your daily life, then it's an addiction. Do you just want to hold the rabbit pillow?
I do.
It's fine. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go back to our first episode. This rabbit was hanging onto the edge.
He was like, please let me on the show. I just want to be on the show.
Be a star. Oh, my God.
But the addiction thing is, I think it really is just something that, it just controls your life at one point, right? Like, that's where it really becomes an addiction. So let's talk about your 12-year sobriety.
There's more to it than just like feeling like it controls your life,
right?
You know, But it's such a
not even control, it's like impacts.
I feel like
But
I'm sure there's psychology things that say this is.
We're not doctors. Just so you know.
And
we're not
none of
doctors.
this should be taken as medical advice.
Absolutely not. At all. Because I will be talking about food addiction and how it controlled my life and what I did to
Facts.
control my life.
Yeah.
To be able to overcome that. But I'm not a medical professional, so
Neither of us are medical
and like what I'm
professionals.
gonna say has a lot to do with medical. I'm slurring. It's fine.
No, I just winked at the camera. It's fine.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I also did too. Yeah. So let's talk about your 12-year sobriety. Why were you sober
Oh my
for
God,
12 years?
This is such a good story to tell.
Okay, I'm ready.
So this was when I was 17. I think it was 17. I think 17 or 18. But I think I'd already graduated, and I had only drank a few times. So, growing up, I was a part of a program, which I don't want to mention. But I was a part of a program that like we had meetings every Sunday. It wasn't church related. No, it wasn't church related. I had to cut that off real quick. It wasn't church.
Let me mention, it's not church related. Sunday, not church related.
It wasn't church related at all. But we had meetings every Sunday, and I didn't want to show up intoxicated, and so I rarely drank in high school. And so there was this one holiday weekend where we didn't have a meeting, and we were like, there was a party that was supposed to be happening that Saturday, and so I was like, I'm gonna get lit. I had it planned out. I was like, yo, I'm gonna get fucked up tonight. I'm gonna get fucked up.
All right.
Right. And so the pregame started at a buddy of mine's condo, and so. My best friend, Eddie, who you haven't met, my best friend, Eddie, and I
have to meet Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie, if you're watching, let's meet. Okay.
My best friend, Eddie, and I, we show up, and like I get there, and like, mind you, I'm getting fucked up tonight. And so I look for the first bit of alcohol I can find. It's like a bottle of Sky vodka. All right, I pour myself a shot, and I chase it with some orange juice. Come to find out, this orange juice had already been mixed with vodka.
So you're chasing alcohol with alcohol. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
for sure.
Alcoholic. Got it.
And so, and so somebody shows up with a case of Smirnoff Ice, right? I down a couple of those.
Full of sugar.
Right.
So that's even worse.
It gets
so bad.
It gets so much
I'm
worse.
so ready. Yeah.
It gets so much worse, right? And so I'm already tipsy. We haven't even left the like pregame spot to go to the party, and I'm already faded.
Yeah.
I'm already feeling it, right?
Yeah.
My drinking partner that night was my buddy Gabe, and we stopped at the convenience store, and I got 2 bottles of pineapple soda. You fuck with pineapple soda? Have you ever had pineapple Fanta?
I think. Probably.
Really?
In my past.
It's
No, I have. I actually have. I love Fanta.
It's the Negro in me.
Yeah.
That
Well, I feel
loves
like
pineapple soda.
what?
It has to be because it ain't the white in me.
Pineapple soda
Anyway,
is a black thing. Okay,
beside
go
the
ahead.
point.
No, it's fine.
I get 2 bottles of pineapple soda. We have a bottle of Smirnoff to ourselves, Gabe and I. Right? And so go to the convenience store. I pick up 2 bottles of pineapple soda. We go to the party, and like every 10, 15 minutes, Gabe or I is like, yo, let's go fucking take a shot. So we go back.
We were earlier today. Got it.
We go back to we hid it in like a cabinet in the kitchen of the party house. We go back, we take a shot straight out the bottle. I would chase it with my pineapple soda. Well, I ended up running out of pineapple soda, but there was still more vodka left.
Oh.
And the last thing I remember is taking a shot of Smirnoff out of the bottle and chasing it with Mad Dog 2020.
What?
Blue Raspberry Mad Dog 2020.
Oh.
And I blacked the fuck out. I was I don't remember anything. The next thing I remember was waking up the next morning in Eddie's car. He's driving, the sun's out, and I feel like shit.
Oh, yeah.
It was just like this. I woke up I was like, oh. And then immediately, like, opened the passenger door and threw my guts up.
Absolutely.
Closed the door, passed back out. Woke back up. Now his sister is following us.
Real quick, how old are you?
17, 18.
Okay.
His sister is following us in my car. They're taking me home. So they take me home to my mom's house, put me in bed, and just leave my car parked in the driveway. Well, my mom gets home at like noon, 1 o'clock from work. She gets home, I'm still in bed, and my mom is, God, if anybody's watching this and knows my mom. You know what?
We talk about your mom a lot.
She might come up a little bit. Listen, if anybody is watching this and knows my mom, she gets home, I'm still in bed, she ain't having it. She's like, boy, you better get your ass out of bed.
Absolutely.
It's fucking 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right?
But at 18 years old, what the fuck are you doing?
I think she knows what happened, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm hungover as fuck. I'm feeling it. Head's just throbbing, right? She's like, I thought I told you to take
worst feeling, by the way.
The worst. And I'm trying to hide it from my mom, I'm probably doing a terrible job. She goes, I thought I told you to take the trash out. Ooh. I was like, fuck, all right. And it's like May or June, hot as fuck in Las Vegas. Ew. So I grabbed the trash cans are in the garage. I grabbed the trash bag, go to the garage, throw the trash bags in the trash can, and it's hot as fuck, and I'm dripping in sweat, and I'm fucking hurting. I'm leaning over the trash can, like about ready to throw up.
Absolutely.
And my mom comes out there, she's like, boy, what's taking you so long? I was like, it's hot in here.
Just making it up. You're like,
it's hot in here.
I'm fine. I'm
just
good. Hot.
It's just toasty in this garage is all duh. Like,
what do you expect?
Eventually, I had to let loose.
Just know she knew already.
Oh, she knew the whole time.
Absolutely. She was just making you more miserable on purpose. It's fine.
Just you wait. I eventually threw up in the bathroom. She comes in the bathroom. She's like, said this exactly. You went out drinking last night, didn't you?
What she fucking do?
And I couldn't lie. I was like, obviously. And so I was like, yeah. She goes just like this. Oh, I got something for your ass.
Bro, shit. I love your mom. More and more every day. More and more every day.
It wasn't even anything bad, like, per se. But she made me run errands with her.
1,000.
All day. Hungover as fuck. And we went to, I remember this so vividly. We went to Walmart, and I was so hungover that I ended up just sitting down in the aisle, just leaned up against the racks like this, and I was just hating life, and I was like, oh my God.
You're like, I'm never drinking again.
I said what everybody says. I'm never drinking again. I'm never doing this shit again.
Everyone says that when they're throwing up, when they're holding your hair back. When I had hair back in the day, holding your hair back, and I'm like, thank you so much. I'm never doing this again. Right? No, lies.
Yeah.
Lies. Guess what I'm doing right now?
Look, not for me. I mean, necessarily.
Yeah, 12 years though. Okay.
12 years.
Yeah.
It was a decent
That's a pretty good amount of time.
Decent stint.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I started drinking again, actually.
Okay.
It'll tie back into the whole addiction thing. But we ended up leaving Walmart, going to Walgreens, running more errands. I remember throwing up just projectile. There was like so much vomit in the parking lot of Walgreens.
Oh, shit. That manager hated you.
I'm
so you know.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, hate my mom. Don't hate me.
Oh, yeah, she did.
It was her fault.
Yeah,
it was my fault initially. So.
I was going to say white.
So
don't blame your mom.
But right? Mom. And so I was like, I'm never drinking again. And sure enough, I drank one time after that. And it was when my two best friends, Nick and Eddie, left for college. And they were like, bro, you got to take a shot with us. You'll never see us again. Then they were trying to make it seem like I was like, they were going to go to college and die. Like I was never going to see them again.
You're never going to see us again.
You're never going to see us again.
I
was like, fine. All right. And so we were at Nick's older brother's house. And he poured me a shot of Booker's. Have you ever had Booker's?
What type of alcohol? No.
It's whiskey. But it's nice whiskey. Shit
really?
comes in a fucking
That's why I don't know about it.
A wood casket.
I only do the cheap shit. Just joking.
It was a shot. He poured me it was probably like a double or a triple of Booker's. And I took it and I was sitting on the couch and I was like, oof. I was like, this is nice. I was like, if every time I drink alcohol, like this was the experience, wouldn't be
then
bad.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't know when to stop.
Right? For sure.
Right? It's like, oh, I feel really good. Okay, I can just stay here. But it's like you want that feeling to stay there. So you're like, I'll just drink a little bit more because you're like trying to keep it there. But then you go too far.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
Something I learned on my 30th birthday, which is something I'm sure we'll talk about on this podcast, is more is not always more.
Absolutely.
That's something I learned. You
don't have to drink more. Like right now, I want to take another shot, but I'm probably good right now.
You might be good.
Yeah.
More is always. You want to take another shot?
Absolutely. After this episode.
Okay, wait. I'll tell the story and we can go get another shot.
Absolutely.
Can we get a shot mid episode?
Can we do it?
We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah,
this is our podcast.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Okay. So that was it. I drank that one time when they were leaving for college. Didn't drink again for 12 years. And then I started drinking again when I was like 30.
Okay. So you were, wait, how you said 18, 17, 18 is the first?
18
and then
to 30.
18 and then 30 years. So your 30th birthday is when you...
Not my 30th birthday.
Oh, no. Okay. It was just,
I was 30 years old.
You're just 30. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Dirty 30. That's when you got dirty.
I did, yeah, for sure.
That's when you got dirty. Mm-hmm. That's like 12 years is a lot of years to not drink alcohol, especially like when you turn 21. So you didn't do anything for your 21st birthday.
No, actually. Yeah.
That's kind of, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm impressed because that's like the thing.
I got the heaviest peer pressure.
What did you do for your 21st birthday?
I don't even remember. I don't know.
I mean, that's what you would do anyway if you were drinking.
Yeah, no.
You don't even remember.
I don't even remember what I did for my 21st birthday. It wasn't anything extravagant because I wasn't drinking.
You were, and here we go.
But yeah.
What did I do? I'm trying to think now what I did for my 21st birthday. I'm like, did I drink? I'm pretty sure I drank.
Yeah.
I was 20. Okay, so.
You got a hunch?
I know. I was trying to think like about my alcohol issues. Not alcohol issues, but like my issues.
Hey, Freud just got your ass.
Yeah, my issues. I would say that when I was, okay, so I started drinking when I was like 18. I had a pretty strict household. So like my dad was an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. My dad was an alcoholic. Yeah.
Same.
My dad was an alcoholic, and then he got in a really bad accident. Literally fucked up his nose. So like literally his entire face was fucked up. He crashed into the side of a hill in California. So like it was like in Malibu. Like he was going through this like windy fucking road, literally hit a side of a hill. I'm surprised he didn't die. Broke his nose.
He was drunk.
1000% drunk. Mm-hmm. Just fucked up his nose, got arrested. It was a whole thing. My dad has been an alcoholic for so many years, and then he switched over to marijuana. And he was like, transfer addiction, which is also something we're going to talk about.
But I mean, marijuana is healthier than alcohol.
1000%. I would rather my dad like smoke than be an alcoholic for sure. And he's been an alcoholic and they say like once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. And I don't know if I...
Always an addict, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if I believe always an alcoholic. I think just always an addict. There's an addictive personality that's always gonna live within my dad, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so when he was drinking a lot, like I never wanted to drink because I was like, ew. I've seen when I'm not even kidding you. My dad crashed into. I was like 3 years old when he crashed into that hill.
You remember it?
I remember.
Yo.
Yeah, it was traumatic.
Real quick, I eventually want to know what your earliest memory is.
That was probably it.
Is that it?
Yeah, because I remember my dad holding me as a 3-year-old with his nose completely broken, shattered, bleeding at the, Ventura County Sheriff's Department in California. I remember like the fucking police sirens, like going, not the sirens, but the lights are all over the place. I remember it as 3 years old, at 3 years old. So I remember that, and I was like, I never want to do that. You know what I mean? I was like, I never want to be like that. My dad has always been an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. When I was like from 3 years old, what I remember is 3 years old all the way up until I was like probably 8 or 9. And I mean, it would change his mood, and not in a good way, And so for me, alcohol makes me happy. I'm like, oh, I can fucking do everything. I'm happy. I'm like so social. I'm happy. My dad was like angry.
Yeah.
So
that's a man.
Yeah.
So is my father.
Super different.
Yeah.
Right. So He was super angry. And I love my dad. We have a great relationship now.
What ethnicity is your dad?
Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Mexican. Which, by the way, I was going to say, Mexican and black people have a lot in common.
In common. Oh, for sure.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
When I talk to my best friend who's half black, like, we talk about this all the time. Because I was like, we are so similar in our culture. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of the stigma and everything that happens within that community is very similar to that. Yeah. So he was very angry, but I just decided I never want to do that. But he transferred his addiction from alcohol to marijuana. But he was angry when he was an alcoholic. He used to beat my mom. He used to beat me.
Same, yo.
Yeah,
Same.
He used to beat my mom.
Look how much we have in common.
Look at that. See? Different people. Totally so much in common. Crazy.
Wow.
But used to beat my mom. Never beat me until I was like probably 13 or 14. Like when I started to get a little more rebellious.
Until.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he didn't ever hit me. Like they spanked me when I was a kid, but never like, it was never like super.
My mom.
Beat the shit out of you. I get it. They definitely got a belt out, you know, and I guess maybe it just depends on what people think beating is, right? Like,
it's subjective.
Yeah, it's subjective to everybody.
Lashings, bro.
To me, like, beating is like, my dad, the worst my dad ever did was like, literally like I was on the ground because I was in pain, you know, and he was drunk at the time. And like, literally, here's the thing. Before everyone judges my dad, he was drunk. He was an alcoholic. There's a lot of stuff that happens when you're an alcoholic, right? Like, there's a lot of emotions, and I'm not trying to make excuses for him.
That's not a pass. That's
it's not a pass. He definitely did not do the things he should have done, right? But I've already forgiven him, and we have a good relationship now, and he's sorry. He's like, I never meant to be like that. Yeah. And that's why once he started seeing like what kind of person he was on alcohol, when he was like drinking alcohol, like what kind of person he really was, he literally was like, okay, I need to change. And what he did was he started going to church. There's a lot of alcoholics do that. They go, they're like, let me find God.
So, Alcoholics Anonymous is very much spiritual based.
So
very much spiritual based.
Spiritual is different than religious, though. Like spiritual is like,
but they mention God. It's very religious.
It's because they try to encompass every religion in one thing, and it's hard to do that because it's like, okay, you don't want anything ruling you, but you also want something to lean on if you need it, right? And so like sometimes you don't have anything to lean on, and so with my dad,
you can lean on me
when you're not strong. Well, my dad had my mom, but like he didn't trust my mom. We're just gonna say that. He didn't trust my mom because there was a lot of issues that he had mentally that was going on. Mental health is gonna be another subject. But yeah. But like my dad, like, you know, he just knew that he was not a good person when he was drinking. He knew that. And so he turned to God. He turned to his Catholicism. He used to be Jehovah's Witness, went to Catholicism. And he was like, you know what? I really need to stop. Yeah. No birthdays, no Christmas, no nothing. No nothing.
That's a trash-ass religion.
Isn't it? I'm sorry. We're so sorry if you're Jehovah's Witness.
I'm sorry.
But it sucks that you can't celebrate your birthday.
Give me my holidays, yo. Yeah, that's all I got.
That's all I want. So yeah. A birthday? What is that? I don't know what that is. But yeah, he was so like, you know, this is really bad. I know that my family needs me. He's a family man. A lot of Mexican men, as much as they are controlling and all these other things that like people stigmatize Mexican men to be, he was the epitome of that. He also realized, I'm not really a cool person on alcohol. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start smoking some weed.
Fuck, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, because it was bad. Beating people is not a good thing. You know, like once it gets to that point, once your anger is like released in that, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people who are alcoholics are angry and they're trying to look for an escape to get away from their anger, right? Yeah. For me, alcohol, I'm not angry. I'm not an angry person. You know me.
Yeah.
I love everyone. I
wouldn't go that far, but okay.
Wow.
You don't love everyone.
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
I
All right,
don't.
So that was an exaggeration.
It was.
Okay.
I do really enjoy.
I just want to check your ass.
You do. I do really enjoy people, though.
For sure.
I do really enjoy people, and for the most part, I really believe that everyone has something good about them, and I like try to seek that in them. Right? I'm not an angry person, I would say. But I am a stressed person. And stress, like sometimes I just want a little liquor to loosen me up and I feel better.
Yeah.
Whereas my dad was just really angry and then drinking just made him more angry. You know what I mean? So it just really depends on the person, So, I mean, that's my take on alcoholism. I don't think I'm an alcoholic, to be honest with you, but I probably should cut back.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you think I'm an alcoholic?
If you think you should cut back, is that not a sign?
No, I would say that it's more like, really honestly, it's more for, it is a mental health thing, but also more for like my physical health. Like, I really feel like I should be going to the gym more than drinking. Why are you looking at me like
So
that?
why don't you go to the gym more than you drink?
Because there's no excuse. I don't have.
What were you getting ready to say? You were like, what was the end of that sentence?
Because I'm tired. But that's a dumb excuse, so I didn't want to say it. It's a terrible excuse.
I'm glad you realized that before it came out. But I'm also glad that I drug it out of you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
for sure.
As my gym owner, I feel like.
Stop it. We got to edit that out
What?
now. What people to know?
You don't want people to know.
No.
Oh, no one can know that now. Even though we talked about that in the very
don't make
first.
it, but it wasn't obvious. Okay, moving on.
Moving forward. Sorry, I wasn't supposed to mention that, apparently.
Moving
I'm
on.
bad. But yeah, I really should cut back. But not when we're doing our podcasts.
Oh, yeah. Again, what makes something an addiction?
I think it's okay. So I said something controlling your life, right?
Google it.
That's I said something controlling your life, right?
Yeah.
I would also say that something that has an effect on your life negatively.
Listen, I appreciate your opinion, but you're not a medical professional.
Absolutely, I'm not.
So
let's see what addiction means.
we're gonna see
what does addiction mean?
What trash ass definition the internet gives us.
Okay, let's see what they say. They say that. Let's look up the definition
Of addiction.
Yeah, the actual Webster's dictionary. The fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity.
Okay, but what is addicted?
Okay, that's a different thing, because addiction and addicted to are two different things, I feel like.
That didn't help me at all. I love looking up the Webster fucking definition of words before I tell people how I feel about something.
Oh, okay, here we go. You ready?
Let's go.
Physically and mentally dependent on a particular substance and unable is a very strong word there.
I feel like it is.
Unable to stop taking it without incurring adverse effects. That's actually a really good definition.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Fucking leave it to Webster.
Yeah.
Fucking smart motherfucker.
Webster's such a fucking
God,
smart.
fucking know-it-all.
He is a know-it-all. Show off, Webster. So for me, if I were to stop drinking, okay, well, let me look at this.
Let's look at it again. Let's look at it again. Yeah.
Unable. Unable means to you're literally not capable of being able to stop, right? Because it's controlling your life. That's why I said
Unable
controlling
what?
your life. Unable to stop taking it, right? Whatever substance it is.
Could you
without
stop drinking alcohol right now?
During the podcast?
Right now. Could you stop drinking alcohol right this second, not take another sip for the next year?
For the next year? Oh my God.
Ooh, you are unable.
That's a good point. It's not that I'm unable, it's that I want to.
Listen.
Is there a the bunny left.
Listen.
You destroy. Hold on. Oh my God. You literally, poor bunny. The whole time the bunny wanted to be in on this podcast, and you literally kicked it off your couch. All right. Unable to stop taking. If I were to think it was a serious issue, and I were able to dedicate my time to stop drinking, yeah, I think I could do it. It's really about, do you want to, though, and do you really think it's affecting your life in any way? I don't think alcohol for me is the problem. But
what is the problem?
But when I was addicted to food, and then I couldn't be addicted anymore, I started drinking more, and that's actually a very common thing well, for those of you that don't know, I had bariatric surgery. So I had the sleeve surgery, which helped me like make my stomach smaller and help me like lose weight.
Can we dive into that real quick?
Absolutely.
Because look, how much time do we have left? This might be a 2-hour episode.
This might be oh shit! I'm
You're
so sorry.
good.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just hit him with my heel. Okay.
Move closer.
Like I don't want to hit
closer.
you. You want to dive into the bariatric thing?
Is that allowed right now,
Yeah.
or is that later in the?
No.
Later?
We can talk about it because that was part of my food addiction.
I need the details of this surgery that you had because, like, it's fucking fascinating.
It's wild
to
me. You, right?
It is fascinating.
It's wild.
Me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have been overweight my entire life. Literally from the time I was like, I would say 8 years old until like I was 30. I've been overweight.
How tall are you?
I am 5'6".
What was your heaviest weight?
My heaviest weight was 380 pounds.
5'6", 380.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And so I was heavily addicted to food to cope with any emotion that I ever had. Yeah. Trauma, I'm sure all of that, right?
Okay.
Like, oh my God.
So many questions.
I know. Okay, why don't you ask me questions and I'll just answer you.
Can I ask you as we go?
Anything you want. I'm an open book.
So, but how did you become addicted to food?
I would say that the addiction to food probably started when I was younger. So back in the day when I was like, like when we would make meals and stuff, my parents would be like, you can't leave anything on your plate.
Say less.
Yeah.
Say less.
Don't leave anything on your plate. They don't have money. Like I grew up poor. So like.
Say less.
Yeah.
That's a fucking thing.
Yeah.
That is a thing.
So when you grow up poor, you don't leave anything. Like you don't want to waste anything. We're on food stamps. This is all we have, right? So my parents were like, you can't leave shit on your plate. I'm like, okay. So I was in charge of making my plates. So my stomach, or my eyes were bigger than my stomach, right? I'm like, oh my God, I'm so hungry right now. So I put a bunch on my plate because I was hungry.
And you had to finish.
And I had to fucking finish it. Yeah. And so my parents were like, well, you got to eat all of it or else, you can't leave the table. You know what I mean? So it was very like strict. And I was very active from the time I was like probably like 5 or 6 is when I started gymnastics, and then all the way up until I was like 10 or 11, I was doing like soccer. My parents always had me in some sort of extracurricular activity. So I will say that about them, that, like they really did try to like get me to like be active, right? But in the end, they let me do whatever I wanted. So if I didn't like a certain thing, they weren't going to force me because it costs money to do it. And if I was not happy to do it, they're like, I'm not spending money on something you don't like doing, Yeah. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to do anything. And so then I just ended up not doing anything. And then I started just eating the way that they told me to eat. And then that's when I really started to gain the weight, you know? I grew up in a very abusive household. My dad, again, great guy now, but at the time he was not great. A lot of things that were happening in our household were not like something that you would really want as a child, you know? And so I feel like a lot of my trauma, a lot of my overeating, all the things that were happening to me was because of the trauma I was going through as a child. Like I was just trying to comfort myself, you know?
You grew up in a very traumatic atmosphere.
Absolutely. My dad beat my mom. Your comfort. Absolutely. My dad beat my mom. My dad would beat me. Like it was just a really traumatic situation. And so I just didn't know how else to cope with it. I didn't have drugs.
Yeah.
I didn't have drugs. I had food.
Food was your drug.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. And so I just continued that. And so from the time I was like 13 all the way up until I was like 30, 31, I was overweight. I was always considered overweight.
Yeah.
And so I just continued to gain the weight. And then when I got married, you kind of like, I don't know for those of you who are married, but when you get married, a lot of times you get comfortable. You get even... That'll be another.
Cut that shit out. Ain't no comfort zone in here.
Well, I also married someone who didn't care about their health.
Was your husband overweight?
Absolutely. He was 400 pounds. 400 pounds, 5'6". Same height as me. 400 pounds. So we're like 20-pound difference.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's really heavy, always been really heavy. But his attributes were a lot of health-related issues. So he had really bad lungs. He really couldn't work out the way that I could work out. You know what I mean?
And how old were you when you got married?
I was 23.
23.
I'm
when
34.
You got
I'm going to be 35 on Friday, July 15th, the day that our first podcast
premiere. And if you're
episode.
hearing this, you should take your ass back and watch that motherfucker.
Absolutely.
Because this is in the future.
We're in the future right now. Yeah. He was always overweight, and then we did go through a lot of like times together where we're like, we really need to get our shit together. You know, we did keto. We did every.
That's not.
I know. We'll talk about that another episode. We did so many different fad diets because like that's kind of the way of the world. Like you just pick a fad diet. And you're like, let's just do this. And then we try it and it works for a little bit and then it doesn't work, you know? So we did that for 10 years of our marriage basically and trying. And it's just, I kind of got to a point where I was like, okay, everything. And I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is another like thing that contributes to my.
Come at me again.
Have you ever heard that before?
What is it?
Let me educate you. Polycystic ovarian syndrome is a very common hormonal issue that women have. It's like probably, I don't have the statistics and don't quote me.
Don't quote
but
me
I
on
would
this,
say, yeah,
'cause
please
I
don't
said
quote me.
shit.
Yeah, but I would say like probably like 70% of women have it without even knowing. So it's just basically your ovaries create too many cysts on your ovaries, and then basically you have insulin resistance, and so the insulin resistance almost makes you have the same symptoms as a diabetic.
Diabetes, yeah.
And so because you have the same symptoms as a diabetic, it's harder to lose weight. I held a lot of my weight in my stomach. Every other part of my body is like normal, except for where my stomach is.
Yeah.
So it like holds all my weight there. There's a lot of like things that go on with that. And so I tried for years to look up polycystic ovarian syndrome diets and like things that would work with my hormones. And I went plant-based for like 3 months.
I went plant-based for like a year and a half.
Did you? Yeah. Like I tried really hard to like figure everything out to try to, and I didn't just go to bariatric surgery. A lot of people who are overweight literally are like, I'm just going to get bariatric surgery and it's going to fix all of my problems. Yeah. You know? And for me, it was not like that. It was like, I'm going to try everything that I can. I'm going to go every avenue that I can. And then I will try, you know, the last resort is bariatric surgery.
Can I ask you a question? What percentage of people do you think, in your opinion, understand that becoming overweight is a psychological thing? More than it is physical.
I don't even know that. Yeah, I think it's so psychological. It's so psychological.
What percentage would you say understands that?
Oh God, it's very low
Roughly.
percentage. I would
Really?
say, yeah, I would say a very low percentage understands that. Maybe it's.
Really?
I'd say probably like 30% of people probably understand that it's psychological. There's definitely physical attributes, right? Yeah. My polycystic ovarian syndrome definitely had had a lot of effect on why I couldn't lose the weight. Yeah, for sure. But also there was a lot of psychological issues from my trauma in my past, my current trauma with my late husband. Like there's so many things going on at that time. Religious trauma. I mean, if you guys even understood like the amount of potlucks that church people have, fried food, everything. Like they just
baked goods.
And nobody talks about that. And what's so crazy is gluttony is a sin. But nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
No church member talks about gluttony. No church pastor talks about gluttony because they're like, oh, it's kind of a sensitive subject. We'll just keep having potlucks.
And I've asked you this before. What percentage of your church members would you say were overweight?
Oh my God. Probably like 70.
No shit.
Yeah, like 70%. I would say 60 to 70% of my church members were overweight.
That's interesting.
Because they didn't really look at it as like a problem, and like people were just wanting to have potlucks. I swear to God, I will say, please, if you're a church member or you know, like you have church trauma or whatever, please tell me how many potlucks you've been to in your life at a church.
Potlucks?
Tell me how many potlucks, because I need to know. I need to know. It's important because the amount of potlucks that I have been to is astronomical. It really is. Yeah, everything is a potluck because they don't. First of all, it's cheap, right? Like which churches are cheap, and also like
except
it just
when
gets
it comes to tithing.
Yeah, no, 10%. Give me that 10%.
Give me my 10%.
Absolutely.
I was a part of a church one time.
Tell me.
I'm not going to tell you that story right now.
Okay, we'll tell it later.
I was like, y'all motherfuckers ain't getting shit. What are you talking about?
10%. That's a fucking lot of money. What? Yeah, no, it's a lot. When you're like, especially if you're struggling and they still push you, like they're like, I know that you can barely pay your rent right now.
But we gonna need that 10%.
But guess what? We really need that 10%. Because it's important.
God wrote it in.
God would want you to not, oh my God.
To not eat
We're not gonna get into the church
We're
trauma
part.
part. We can't right now.
That's
We can't. We have to do
episode.
another episode.
Shit.
I know.
Right.
I know. Because it really does
All
have a
right.
lot to do with why I became the way I was, like
Yeah.
why I got to that point. But I tried every avenue of diet culture, anything that I could think of that would help me lose weight. I literally even just did balanced diets. Like I did everything I could, low carb.
Yeah.
The best thing that I ever did was low carb, not keto, but when I did low carb, it was
Yeah.
like the best thing, and it really is the best thing for people that have PCOS because
It's
of
the best thing in general.
because of the insulin resistance. Like if you have insulin resistance,
Yeah.
you should go low carb. That's really like it's not like, oh, that's the diet fad. It's like, no, scientifically,
Yeah.
because you have insulin resistance, you should go low carb,
Yeah.
right?
But it's sustainable.
It's sustainable.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like
that's
you can
the
still have
biggest thing.
you can still have carbs. You just, don't go
Yeah.
crazy. Don't
Yeah,
go with the
yeah.
sugar. Don't go
For
crazy.
sure.
And so I tried that. I lost like 75 pounds by myself. By myself. Without bariatric surgery, I lost 75 pounds
All
by
right.
myself.
Word up.
And I was like, okay, I can do this. This is a
75 pounds
70
is fucking
pounds.
huge.
Yeah, I did that by myself. But then guess what happened?
You gained it back?
Absolutely.
That
1000%.
shit tends to happen sometimes.
100%. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, and it was just because of like the marriage I was in, the church. So there was so many things going on. And so I was like trying so hard. And I was like, I was talking about bariatric surgery. My husband was super against it. So against it.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't want you to get it.
Well, why do you think he was against it?
Oh, there's,
Oh, I know why.
yeah. Yeah. You already
Why?
know.
Why?
What?
Can we tell the people?
Yeah.
Why?
He was jealous. He would have been
Yeah.
jealous. Yeah, 100%. Like if I was like losing the weight and he wasn't, he would have been jealous. And actually, when you go to the consultation to get bariatric surgery, that's the
They talk
first thing
about
they
it, huh?
mention.
Yeah.
Are you married? Yes. Does your spouse know that you're interested in bariatric surgery? Yes. How do they feel about it?
Ooh, damn. They
Yeah,
cook you,
they
huh?
cook you. Yeah.
Wow.
Because they need to know, like,
Yeah.
how do you feel? How does your husband feel? Because just know that there, and I don't know the percentage. I would love, you know what? I would love to know the percentage of divorces after bariatric surgery. Yeah,
Ooh.
it's common. And actually, people who are listening that I know are in the bariatric community will attest to this because I know 4 people personally, my friends who had bariatric surgery who all divorced their husbands afterwards. And it's because, and it's not the weight loss, and everyone thinks it's the weight loss, but it's like, no, you start to realize, like, oh my God, like, I can do really hard things, and I'm worth a lot more than how you're treating me.
You start to value yourself.
You start to value yourself. Yeah, it's really crazy. Yeah, you start to value yourself. You start to realize, like, oh, like, I don't need to be in a miserable marriage. Like, and even if I wasn't to get with someone else, because it was never about someone else. I was never like, oh my God, I can't wait to get with someone else. That's not what it was. I was like,
for sure.
I don't want to be treated like this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Treated like what?
Like just like shit, you know,
By
like
who?
by your husband, by whoever you're married to. Like a lot of times, like when you're an overweight person and you like societally are not attractive, like you settle. You settle for whatever you can get, right? You're like, okay, this is good enough. This person loves me or loves me, and you think this is all I'm like worth. And so you marry that person, and then you realize like, oh my God, like what was I thinking? I have so much more value than this. And that's kind of what I went through when I got bariatric surgery. I went through every avenue. That was the point. I went through every avenue before I even decided to get it. 8 years of research before I even decided to get it. I didn't just like pick up the phone and say, hey, can I get a bariatric consultation like the day I thought of it?
Yeah.
It was literally like back and forth because there's a lot of judgment that comes with bariatric surgery. A lot of people think it's the easy way out. A lot of people think like, oh, it's not the right decision for you. And I had to go through all of that process before I decided, okay, I really need to do this.
Wow.
And it's literally the best decision I've ever made. I've told you before, it's the best decision I've ever made, but there are regrets.
You haven't
right?
told them.
I haven't told you. I haven't told you guys.
These people.
I haven't told these people yet. Best decision I ever made. Lost 175 pounds. Couldn't be happier. But when I got into powerlifting, that's when it became a little harder. And that's why I get like really, it's easy for me to get like I guess just really like anxious or like I lose my motivation because I'm like, I can't lift as heavy as I want to because I know I can't eat the way I should eat to lift as heavy as I want to.
We talked about this the first time we hung out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's just really hard because I do really want to lift heavy. I want to power lift. I don't want to just lift at the gym and just do cute little, like, I know that people go to the gym to like, they want to lean out and and I'm like, I don't care about that. I care about lifting heavy. That's all I care about. And it's really frustrating now that I love it so much and I can't because I can't eat as much. So I'm trying really hard. And for those of you who don't know what bariatric surgery is, I got the sleeve surgery. So the bariatric, it's called the vertical sleeve, VSG, vertical sleeve gastrectomy. Gastrectomy? I might be saying that wrong. But VSG.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds right. They basically they cut half your stomach. So they cut like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they cut 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, and then the 5th one is in your belly button. And they basically do everything laparoscopically, and they literally cut more than half of your stomach out.
Can we show a diagram?
1,000%.
We're gonna.
I'll show my personal pictures.
Wait.
I have pictures of it from my surgery. Yeah, I have it.
Of your stomach, though?
Of my actual stomach. Yeah, the inside.
Does it give you like scale? Can you understand?
Yeah, I think so.
I've never even seen those.
Yeah, like it's such a crazy video. If you guys could ever look up a VSG surgery on YouTube, they have them. And literally they just like cut, like they slice more than half your stomach. So your stomach is literally like a little tube. They take the rest of it out and then they just staple and singe the other side of your stomach. And then they pull this part of your stomach through your belly button. So they take out your stomach, like the other half of your stomach out of your belly button. And then you're just restricted.
Wow.
I know. So it is crazy, but it seems very extensive, right, for weight loss.
It seems.
Does it seem to you as an outsider like extensive for someone who's
struggling? Are you kidding me? That shit sounds traumatic as fuck.
It's not that bad. It's a mind fuck. Because when I first got out of surgery, okay, mind you, I could down like 4 or 5 plates at a buffet. 4 to 5 plates. When I got out of surgery, all I could drink was water at first.
Hear me out. Okay, but what stopped you from saying, okay, I should probably only do 2 plates?
Addiction. Well, also like feeling hunger, because there is a hormone that causes you to feel hunger, right?
Yeah.
And because like I didn't really like produce the hormone that stopped it, like I literally just was hungry all the time. I felt like I was never satisfied.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now I have a restriction. So when I eat, and you've seen me eat. Like when I eat, quick. I get full really quick.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm full, and I shouldn't eat anymore because I'm like, I'm full. I'll make myself sick if I keep going.
For sure.
But if I know I'm gonna work out like that day, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna eat in the morning. I'll work out, and then I'll make sure I continue to like eat small portions all day, like multiple times a day, just to make sure I'm getting my nutrients. Because that's actually another thing that people struggle with bariatric surgery is getting their vitamins and nutrients in.
Post-surgery.
Because your stomach's so small. So that's why they're like protein first, and then everything else after.
Why do they make it so small then?
I don't know. Because it does extend later.
You can't tell them like, yo, not half, maybe like take a quarter.
No, they have a specific, but also like, okay, so before when I first got out of surgery, I'm not joking. When you guys know when you go to the doctor or the hospital, they give you those little pill cups, like those little paper pill cups.
Yeah.
Okay, they filled 2.
I had a sample of some Costco.
I was gonna say
meats.
Sample cups from Costco. Those are exactly what I'm talking about. Those 2 little sample cups, I literally had 2 samples of water, 2 little cups of water. I drank them. I was immediately full after surgery. I had never felt a sensation like that. It was fucking trippy as fuck. When I say it's a mind fuck. Premier Proteins. Remember when I asked you when you went to Costco the other day? So I used to drink Premier Proteins like crazy because that was like something that they really like say, hey, get your protein in. This is the only way you're going to be able to get it in. 1 Premier Protein, which is like a little
like 12
thing.
12 ounces?
One day. I couldn't finish it. I had to like drink it out throughout the whole day for the first like 3 or 4 days.
Well, and that was because your stomach was very swollen
So
too.
swollen, so small.
For sure.
And so by the time the 2 weeks, like, so they have like a way to go, like, so the first 2 weeks, only liquids. So I could only drink water and Premier Proteins and any other liquid, no sugar. Okay. Then after that, you go to pureed foods. Right? Because your stomach's still healing. So I could only have pureed foods. Any pureed food I wanted, but it just had to be pureed. Yeah. Right?
Okay, so what was the weirdest shit you had pureed?
Oh,
Did you have anything weird?
No, the weirdest thing I ever had was like pureed chicken. Like I pureed it myself.
That's weird as fuck.
Yeah. I pureed it and I like seasoned it and I tried to make it, and I could only like 2 bites. Because it was so full. And protein fills you so quickly, right? Yeah. So I like 2 bites. I'm like, well, I'm done. Wow. I had to buy different utensils, sir. Like not the normal spoons and knives. Like they literally have bariatric utensils that you can buy on Amazon.
They're smaller?
And they're smaller. Like teeny, teeny, tiny spoons, teeny forks. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy. Yes.
I've already told you this whole shit is fascinating.
Isn't it crazy? It's getting more and more fascinating. And so it was just a trip the whole time. Like losing the weight was like the best thing that ever happened, like I said. But there's it was a mind fuck the whole time. Yeah. Going from being able to eat the way I was able to eat to barely being able to eat anything was just crazy. But it also was amazing because I would not have been able to do that by myself. Yeah. I really wouldn't have because I would never felt satisfied. I never felt like I was not hungry. I always felt like I wanted to eat something and that addiction was real.
But the fucked up thing about food addiction is that hunger is such a natural thing. Yeah. It's fucking so ingrained in your DNA. Yeah. Like, motherfucker, you got to eat to live.
You got to eat to live.
And so that hunger triggers something to like you got to go fucking find some food right fucking now or you're going to die. Yeah. And that's not an easy thing to overcome. No. And so I love the fact that you're driving home that you tried all of these fucking things. I tried everything.
Yeah. I really did. Yeah. And people always say, oh, this is the easy way.
Oh, bro, that was me.
Yeah, did you think that?
I felt that way.
Yeah,
I was like, yo, you could have beat this on your own. But I had no idea.
It's
like
so much.
People from my perspective don't really understand. And I'm most certain that
Let's talk about your perspective. What's your perspective? Like, what do you mean? Like, when you say your perspective, what do you mean? Like, as a person who eats healthy, goes to the gym, like this is your lifestyle, right? I've never
always eaten healthy, but I've always had a decent metabolism just because of my genes, just because of my father. Mm-hmm. And so no matter when I was growing up, no matter what I ate, I was always able to just burn it off, whether or not I was working out or not. I never became overweight, you know? And my mom always kept us in sports. She literally said, if you don't play sports, you don't live under my roof.
Oh, wow.
And so we had to play a sport regardless of what it was. And so I was always burning calories there. And so I was always relatively in shape. Right. And so I've never been overweight. And so I can't really empathize about how that feels, you know? But whenever I was hungry, I would eat the same as you, right?
And the thing is, if you and I were sitting next to each other as where I was before bariatric surgery and where you were, and we were to eat the same amount of food, like I would continue to be fat. Yeah. Like I would always be the same weight. You would metabolize all of your stuff fast, right? Yeah. And that's what people don't understand, and that's what irritates me. And it's not you that irritates me.
No, please, I can irritate you. That's okay.
No, I'm saying like it's so irritating because I'm like people don't understand. Like if everybody had the same diet plan and the same workout plan, everyone's body would still be different.
Everybody will look different.
Everyone will look different. Yeah. And so a lot of those people, like that's why I love when I see like on Instagram like these big girls going to the gym and they're like thick and they eat normal. They don't eat they don't go to fast food restaurants and everyone assumes that, oh, you're going to McDonald's after this? No, you're not. Like these people eat normal. They're going to the gym. That's just how their body is, you know? For sure. And so I think that's like what something I was like really struggling with was I was like, okay, this is just how I am. I'm always going to be a big girl. I'm just always going to be that way. Like even with skin removal and everything after the surgery, like I'm still always going to be thick. It's just always going to be in my genes. And thank you for the Latina side of me, right? Like I want to be thick. I don't want to be skinny. And it's nothing wrong with being skinny at all. I love all body types. But for me, I'm like, I've accepted That I'm like, okay, this is how I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
This is it, you know,
For
and
sure.
I'm good with that.
For sure.
But I didn't accept that when I was like almost 400 pounds, right? Like
Yeah.
I didn't accept that. I was like, no,
Yeah.
because my thickness was no longer my genes. It was, well, kind of, but also like I needed help with my addiction. I needed help. I needed a tool.
Yeah.
And that's what the bariatric community calls these surgeries. It's a tool, because even if you get the surgery, you can still regain the weight back.
You can stretch your stomach back out.
Absolutely stretch your stomach back out.
For sure.
And people don't understand that. There's a lot of people that do it out of pocket, and they just go back to their normal lives like they were before. So when you go through insurance, you have to go through a psychiatric evaluation. You have to go through a nutritionist evaluation, and they make you basically. The questionnaire was extensive.
Really?
Yeah, it was like literally like 100 questions to make sure you weren't. I don't want to say crazy because, you know, I'm a mental health advocate, but like to make sure that you were mentally stable
enough
to get this surgery.
Yeah.
Because they want you to realize it's a mind fuck.
Yeah.
It is to be able to go through like years and years of trauma, years and years of food addiction, years and years of all this other stuff that people don't talk about. They want to make sure you're good, because if you get the surgery and you don't have that understanding of like, hey, this isn't just you losing weight. Because a lot of people are just
what
like,
percentage?
I'm gonna say like, I know if I knew the actual percentages.
I don't want to know the actual percentage. I love
like
knowing people's opinions.
I would say that like people, like I would say like 70% of people that get bariatric surgery have a body image in mind.
And that's not healthy.
Absolutely not. Because
can I ask, what should you have in mind when thinking about getting bariatric surgery?
You should have in mind that this is a lifestyle, and that you're doing it for your health, and for like to be able to do things you weren't able to do before, right? Like it has nothing to do with looking a certain way.
Yeah.
I could never do the things I was able to do at 400, almost like 380. I say 400, it's 20 pounds off.
Whatever.
But like literally like I could never do the things I'm doing now that you know what I mean? Like that I would never be able to do that at 400 pounds. And so I think a lot of times people don't understand, like when they get the surgery, if you're like really heavy, you're going to have extra skin. So the body dysmorphia.
What's really heavy?
It just depends on how tall you are. But if for me, 5'6", 5'7", even, I don't know where I'm at, 380, that's not normal. That's not normal. But like for my skin, like it's so much extra skin. And so people don't understand, like if you get the surgery, you have to be able to realize that you're going to lose the fat, but you're not going to lose the skin that was there, you know? And that's the mind fuck.
Yeah.
That's the mind fuck, because
it
is heavy because I struggle so hard with it. Like and it's so crazy. I've lost 175 pounds. Yo.
Good for you.
That's so great, right?
Good for
in
you.
everyone else's eyes, right? When clothes are on. When clothes are on and I do a before and after, dramatic difference. When I look in the mirror, I look the same.
Okay. But it was never about body image to begin with.
And it sucks because for me, it was a lot about body image because I was so unhappy in the size I was in, right? And that's what a lot of the reason that people get the surgery. They're so unhappy with where they're at. And it's so real. Like people don't understand. People that have never been fat don't get it. They just don't.
Dude,
they
you're
just
fucking preaching to the choir.
They just don't fucking get it.
Facts.
They don't.
That's facts.
Yeah.
Can I just real quick? Real quick.
Yeah, please.
Just real quick. And it's so funny. Somebody said this to me fucking just yesterday. But and if this person is listening, I mean no harm. But somebody just told me at the gym, they were like, and they were fair. They were like, whether somebody's too skinny or too fat, I blame them because they're the one that's putting food in their mouth or not putting food in their mouth. They said something that was very all-encompassing about the fact like people have control over their diet, you know, or not. And to be honest, like I was that same way.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, just stop eating, you know, but it's so easy,
eating.
right? Just stop using heroin.
Stop using heroin.
It's so easy.
Just stop watching porn.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Facts. It's but it's such a fucking journey, you know? And so many people, including myself, don't understand. Just don't understand. And it's just so far away from my reality that I can't empathize, right?
Yeah.
And even before, like earlier on in my life, when I didn't understand how emotions worked and I couldn't identify a lot of my emotions, I was unable to empathize with women or people with how they felt because I didn't understand those emotions. And it's just ignorance. And people think ignorance is such like
ignorance is bliss.
The word ignorance has such a negative connotation, I feel like.
It does.
It does. But it's not a negative word necessarily.
It's not. You just don't understand.
It just refers to something that you don't know.
Yeah.
Or something that you don't understand.
Get it.
Yeah.
And the point is, like, that's why, like, I've become such a huge, like, advocate for body dysmorphia because I'm like, people just don't get it.
Yeah. For sure.
No one that's
body dysmorphia, I get. Though.
You get that.
I do.
Yeah, I know. And I know everyone does. And that's something that I've actually had to understand, that I'm not the only one, or fat people that have lost weight are not the only ones that like understand body dysmorphia. Everyone has body dysmorphia. Yeah. Right? But like for me, like I'm just
say everyone.
Everyone?
I
say most people do.
What percentage?
Oh God.
Listen.
80%.
Okay.
I'd say 80%.
I don't want you to think about it. I just want you to blurt out a percentage.
Minimum.
80% of people.
Yeah, 80%, because everybody to a point hates where their body's at. Everybody hates.
Damn, why is that though? Society.
Because society. Yeah, society makes it or even your own mental thing, like your own
your
idea.
own mental thing.
When I got the surgery,
changed by society.
I thought, oh, I'm gonna lose all this weight, and then I'm gonna look fucking perfect. And then, like, I lose the majority amount of the weight I want to lose, and I don't look the way I want to look.
So you even said yourself, like, you shouldn't be doing it because of how you look. You should be doing it for the health reasons.
Absolutely.
And for being able to do things you couldn't do before, being able to do it for longevity.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much of it was because of the way you looked for you?
For me, I really felt like I was like, okay, I am 380 pounds. That's 5'6".
Yeah.
I could barely walk around without losing my breath. I could barely walk around without my feet hurting. I even bought Birkenstocks for the first time because I was like, maybe the Birkenstocks will help because of the arch support. I literally was like looking for every way, and I was so unhappy and unhealthy, and I felt terrible. You know, I just felt terrible. Yeah. And I was like, there's nothing I can do to make me feel better. I just have to lose the weight. And I'm an advocate for body positivity. You know that. I am a huge advocate.
Absolutely.
There's a thin line for me between body positivity and being just completely unhealthy, you know? And accepting yourself as you are is fine, but just know that it's okay to be body positive and still want to be healthier, right? Your joints are not healthy. I'm sorry. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of shit. Your joints are not healthy at the weight that I was at. 380 on my knees. That's not healthy. If I'm doing squats, it's not healthy.
It doesn't. But you say you're gonna get hate, but it's just facts. Like the human body is seriously. It's made genetically from history to only be able to carry a certain amount of weight. And
but what do you say for powerlifters?
What do you mean?
What do you say for powerlifters that are lifting?
It's the same.
Yeah, it's
the same. I don't give a fuck how much weight you can lift. If you're too fucking big for your body, you're too big for your body.
Yeah.
If it's not healthy for your joints, it's not healthy for your joints.
Yeah.
That's a sacrifice people are willing to make to be able to lift heavy weights.
Yeah.
But it's not healthy.
Right.
Just because a motherfucker shredded on stage doesn't mean they're healthy. On the contrary, they're unhealthy as fuck.
Look at you.
Yo, don't even get me.
Look at you.
Don't get me started. Yo, don't get me started.
I struggle with this because I'm like, oh, being a huge, and the thing is, if you want to be and this is more for females, if you want to be a female, a woman at 500, 400 pounds, because I'm all about the BBWs. I like the BBW girls, right? They look fine as fuck. Some of these girls, voluptuous, beautiful women. However, I'm like, okay, that's fine. How is your blood work? That's literally all.
Let's go get a physical.
Yeah, how is your blood work? Yeah, because let's just see if you're healthy. Yeah, that's all I want to see. I don't care about, and I'm not going to tell you, as I'm not a medical professional, right? I will never comment on someone's physical appearance because they could be 400 pounds and absolutely 1,000% healthy. Yeah, they're good where they're at. Yeah, the doctor's like, you look good. Yeah, you look fine. Yeah, everything's great. Your blood work looks amazing. Okay, good. Go for it. And they be modeling their, I'm fine with that. But if your doctor's like, hey, listen, you need to probably lose a few pounds because I can see here your blood work is at a high, and your sugars are a little, and your cholesterol's a little. Hey, let's work on that. You can still do that and be fit. You can still do that and be fat. And fat is such a huge. Everyone looks at it as such a negative thing. I am fat. I still consider myself as fat. Yeah. I'm a small fat, though. Yeah. There's a big difference. So when I first started my weight loss journey, I started getting into the BBW community, right? So I started getting into the BBW stuff. And all these women that started following me that were BBW, all this stuff, right?
When you say BBW, does that more sexualized?
Yeah, it is. 1,000. Big women. Now that I think about it, now that I'm in it, now that I see it from a different perspective now, yes. When I was in it, I didn't understand that.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Fetishized.
1,000%. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm for sure fetishized. I was for sure fetishized a year ago when I was a little bit bigger, and so BBW is definitely a connotation that people don't like to use, and then there's some women that love to use it. They're like, I don't care if you call me a BBW, I am a BBW, and BBW is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be big. It's just okay, how are your knees though?
But hear me out. And I'm going to play the devil's advocate here.
Yeah, do it.
But what if they don't care about their health?
That's their body.
Who are we to say
exactly
you should be healthier because you're going to die early? Yeah. But if they're like, I understand that. I understand I'm not being healthy with my body. I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah. There's nothing we can do about that.
Period. Point blank.
That's what they like.
Yeah.
And that's what they want.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Yeah. And for me, I'm okay with that. Because in reality, I'm not looking, I'm not a medical professional. If you want to be 500 pounds, because there's BBW and there's
SWV.
It's SSBBW. So there's big, beautiful women, right? And then there's super-sized big, beautiful women.
I've never heard of this.
So there are women that are 500-600 pounds. Yeah. Fetishized, big.
Yeah, for sure.
SSBBW. So those women are they know. They know for a fact that they are unhealthy, that they know that they're not supposed to be that size. But they're happy. And here's the thing. If you're happy and if you're good where you're at, for me personally at almost 400, I was I am not happy.
Yeah.
I feel like shit every day. My knees hurt, my ankles, my feet were swollen. Yeah, I was I don't want to feel like this anymore. And now I'm okay. So I went from 380, I'm 200 now. I'm almost 180 pounds, right? I kind of fluctuate in the 200s. I want to stay there because I'm happy in the 200s. Yeah. I don't need to be one in the 100s.
Who gives
That's
a fuck?
Another thing too. Wonderland is a big deal. Wonderland, Wonderland is a big deal in the weight loss community. I reached the 100s. It's why do you fucking care about the weight on the scale? I care more about how I feel every day.
Keep it 100 with me, though.
Yeah, I feel
no pun intended.
Yeah.
Did you care?
I didn't.
At one point, you never cared?
At the very first, I was my goal weight is 180. That was my goal weight. My goal weight is 180. So technically, I'm 25 pounds away from that right now. But I'm I feel... Right now, I've been kind of slacking, but I feel good at 200.
Yeah.
I'm good there. I don't feel... I don't feel like I need to lose weight.
Yeah.
I feel like I could lose a little more fat in certain areas. I feel like I could gain a little more muscle in some areas, but I don't care about the weight on the scale.
Yeah.
You know, and I cared so much for so long when I was going through my bariatric surgery.
Can I ask, how often do you get on the scale?
Oh my God, barely.
Really?
I barely get
good
on the
for
scale.
You.
Yeah,
Fucking
I
good for you.
barely get on the scale.
I never get on the fucking scale.
Yeah, I barely get on there because it literally just weighs your mass.
Good
and so
for
like you could
you.
be muscle or fat. Like
Good
what is
for
that? You know what I mean?
Fantastic.
So I don't really care anymore. Like I actually posted a video one time, like a reel that was like, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You know, where I was like women, especially women, and I'm not saying men don't care, but women, especially in the bariatric community, care about getting in Wonderland.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, non-scale victory, I got into Wonderland, and everyone cares so much about it. And I'm like, why? You look saggy, and you look like you don't go to the gym. You look like you're not trying. Like, I watched.
Hear me out. It's not supposed to be about what you look like.
No, it's not. But I'm saying, like, how do you feel?
Okay.
Like, how do you feel? Like, okay. Like, I watched this one girl that was like, okay, if you lose weight, you look the same as you were at that weight and then to the next weight, right? But if you lift weights, you can change the way your body looks.
Yeah.
And you can still weigh the same.
You can change your body composition.
Actually, absolutely. So I'm like, why do you care so much about how much you weigh? Why do you care more about what your body looks like, how you want it to look? Because the point of the surgery, yes, is to get healthier. Yeah. But let's not pretend. Let's not pretend that we want to look a certain way. We want to look a certain way.
For sure.
That's why bodybuilders do what they do. That's, you know what I mean? Like, that's why they do that, right? So if you're looking to look a certain way, why do you care so much about the scale? Like, you should care nothing about the scale.
A lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
A lot of people,
I didn't learn until at least 100 pounds
biggest
in.
resource.
100 pounds in, I was like, I lost 100 pounds. And I was like, okay, I look thinner. I don't look the way I want to, though.
Yeah.
You know? And that's when I started powerlifting, was like when I lost 100 pounds.
For sure.
And I was like, okay, now I can like really like change the way I look.
All right.
But
so
we're like really like over.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Hear me out right now. We are 16 minutes into this one.
Yeah.
Should we wrap this up?
Yeah, we need to wrap it up.
Or do you want to keep going?
No. We need to wrap it up. We need to wrap it up because
all right. We want to keep it at an hour.
so much more to talk about.
So much. There might be a part 2.
There has to be a part 2. You know what?
There must be a part 2.
I feel like the next one needs to be a part 2 because we need to talk about your addiction.
We don't have to.
We should.
But
because I have also, I've gone through your addiction a little bit.
Have you now?
Yeah, so I feel like we should talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah.
All right. In closing,
though, thank you guys so much for listening. We went a little long. Normally, we would try to keep this to 45 minutes, but this is a really important subject.
If they're listening to this one, listen, they're either like day one fans, or they're fans from like 2 years from now. And they're like, I want to go back and listen to the first one.
Yeah.
So they're in.
They're in.
They're fucking in.
You're absolutely in. That's it.
Y'all motherfuckers are in. Welcome to the dark side.
Welcome to the dark side.
It's something I wanted to do at the closing of each episode was like talk about something that we learned.
What did you learn? Because I talked the whole time.
No, I talked the whole beginning.
That's true. You did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
What did you learn? You learned something.
I learned that even people that I feel like have it together body-wise could still have body dysmorphia. That's a good one.
Biggest facts.
That's a good one. You know why? Because people that are my size or have loose skin or have like all these things that we're so insecure about, you have to understand. And I'm learning this every day. It's not just with you. I'm learning every day. People that have like, I'm going to mention like Kakoa. I don't know if he does have any, but like he is so like ripped.
Bro is
and
like just a Greek
dirty,
god,
right?
Fucking etched out of stone.
I know for a fact he has some body issues.
Oh, he has to.
Yeah. And so for me, I have to understand, okay, even if you look like a Greek god, you still have body dysmorphia.
Facts.
That's what I learned today from you.
Facts.
Yeah. And you just kind of amplified that for me.
Yeah,
What did you learn from me?
I mean, honestly, this shit is like really to my soul. But I truly learned what people who are overweight struggle with. Like I felt like I could empathize with that struggle. Like I felt like I understood on a level that I've never understood before. And it's such like an ignorance thing, because a lot of people just don't know or just don't understand. And a lot of people can fat shame, oh, this, that, or other, and talk shit when they really don't fucking understand. And when you put it like, yo, I was hungry, so I ate, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like I got chills saying that shit.
Yeah.
Like, yo, hunger is at the root of the fucking core of who organisms are. We need to eat and we need to fucking reproduce. That's it. That's all we really need to do.
That's it.
And fucking, I have a sex addiction and you have a
food addiction. Listen, it's fine. And also, like, that's why, like, okay, so you're ripped and you're fat shaming someone, but let's talk about your addictions.
Let's not. We're not gonna assume.
Not you.
We're not gonna assume all ripped people fat shame.
No. I know. I'm just. That's why my inner Drew Afwalo comes out.
You were assuming body fucking.
I'm just saying, like, well, I'm fat men fat shame women.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Listen.
We have too much. Wait, that's another subject. Anyways, okay.
All right,
listen.
Close it out.
Closing out. Thank you guys so much for listening to our rants. Shout out to y'all. You guys can find us on YouTube and all social medias, Instagram and Twitter at JezebelAndTheJester. YouTube. Make sure that you guys subscribe and make sure you hit that little bell.
If you're watching this on YouTube, I appreciate the fuck out of you.
Yeah, 100%.
Hit that bell notification so you know when we drop a new episode, and we have side shows too. That are like off podcast kind of things that we like to do. So if you're not watching us on YouTube right now, I highly suggest you go and check that out. This one right here, go check out our YouTube, because listen,
right here.
the facial reactions, top notch.
Like, listening to us is one thing, but seeing us, different vibe.
Yo,
different vibe.
It's two senses at once.
1,000%. But I honestly,
it's three senses.
What's the third?
Wait, is it third one?
Wait,
they
visual?
feel it.
They do
in their bodies.
The emotions. But honestly, like, what is this? The third episode? So thank you so much, you guys. If you've already
episode,
the third,
technically
the third.
We're gonna clear that up.
We're gonna clear it up. It's really the second episode though, because we had a microsode, and I just really appreciate your guys' support.
Yeah.
That you would even be here. You guys are honestly. This is why we're here. We want to just relate to y'all. If you guys have any suggestions, please comment below.
Questions.
Make sure you put your questions down there. Comments, concerns, angry letters.
Let us know. If
we
you
will
hate
answer
one
them.
of us, please.
Please
let us know.
I love hate mail.
Let us know. I hope people hate me.
I hope people hate me too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that means you're making it.
That means you're watching it too.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to wrap this up. We'll have a part 2. We do need to talk about Ernest's addiction, which is sex addiction. So in case you want to watch the next episode, something that I've also struggled with recently. So we will talk about that definitely in the next podcast. But thank you guys for watching. You guys have a great evening and we love you. Bye.